Okay, this is lesson 4.1, word problems with proportions. We are going to go over the warm-up, so go ahead and pause the video and then start it back up again to see the answers. Okay. Is there anything outside of my absolute value? Of course, the answer is yes, so I have to get rid of that. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And I'm going to get the absolute value of 5x equals 30. Now, there's nothing outside my absolute value, so I go 5x equals 30. And 5x equals negative 30. You have to set it equal to both the positive and negative answer. Now I divide both sides by 5, and I get x equals 6. And when I divide this by 5, I get x equals negative 6. Okay. Okay, this one I have to distribute. 15x minus 6 is greater than or equal to negative 8 plus 12x. So now, I tell you, always move the smallest number with a letter first. 12 is smaller, so I'm going to subtract 12x to both sides. Notice how I line it up underneath what I'm going to combine it to. Neat work is the key for success here, guys. 15 minus 12 is 3x minus 6 is greater than or equal to negative 8, because these cancel. Now, I'm going to add 6 to both sides. This cancels. 3x is greater than or equal to negative 2. And now, to get rid of the 3, I divide both sides by 3. Remember, the number next to your letter goes on bottom of the fractions. The 3's cancel. So x is greater than or equal to negative 2 over 3. Here I'm going to solve for y. So, I'm going to need to distribute again. 3 times 3 is 9x. 3 times 2 is plus 6y. Bring down my plus 3 equals 36. Okay. If we remember back to an earlier unit, if there's a sign in between the parentheses and the number, that is not your distributor. Okay. Now I'm solving for y, so I circle or highlight the y. That means I have to get rid of the 9x, and I have to get rid of the positive 3. In order to do that, I subtract 9x to both sides. This cancels. 6y plus 3 equals 36 minus 9x is minus 9x plus 36. I cannot combine these two numbers because they don't both have x's. And remember, the number with the letter has to go first. Now, I still have to get rid of my 3, so I subtract 3 to both sides. Notice how I lined up the 36 and the negative 3. Okay, so this cancels. Like I said, I line up my 36 and my negative 3. So I get 6y equals negative 9x plus 33. I subtracted that too early. I line up my 36 and my negative 3 and get 33. Now I divide everything by 6. Remember, we're getting ready to solve slope-intercept. So when you have x and y and you're solving for y, you divide everything by the number next to the letter. So y equals negative 3 over 2x plus, this is going to be 11 over 2. Because 3 will go into here, 3 goes into 9 3 times. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 33 divided by 3 is 11. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So that is your answer. Okay. Now, here, we're given some information. We're told that Blockbuster has 42,000 movies on 345 shelves. And we're also told that they plan on adding 31 more shelves. So we need to know how many more movies will they be able to fit in their store. In order to solve this, you need to know how many movies are on each shelf. Because if I know how many movies fit on one shelf, then I can find out how many movies fit on 31. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's say I have 2 movies on each shelf. So I have a total of 20 movies. 2 movies on each shelf. So if I want to add 5 more shelves, 3, 4, 5, and I have 2 movies on each shelf, well then I can add 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I can add 10 more movies. This is what we want to find out. But because there's so many movies and so many shelves, I can't just write it out. So how am I going to do it? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up as a proportion. They're going to give you 2 things that go together and then 1 thing that doesn't go with the other 2. I have 42,180 movies on 345 shelves. Those 2 things go together. Movies on shelves. Now I'm going to set that equal to another fraction. And here I'm adding 31 shelves, so I set that up. And how many movies will fit on 31 shelves? I don't know. So my first proportion, movies to shelves. My second proportion, movies to shelves. Okay, so the important thing here is that if you put shelves or movies on top of your fraction here, this must represent movies also. If shelves are on bottom, this must also be shelves. Okay? So these 2 numbers go together because there are 42,000 movies on 345 shelves. We don't know how many movies will fit on 31 shelves. Now we cross multiply. So let me get my calculator. These are big numbers. 42180 times 31 equals, obviously 345 times x is 345x. And 42,180 times 31 equals 1,307,580. Now, in order to solve this, I just divide both sides by 345. And my answer is 3,790. Now, I get a decimal. I can't put a decimal of a movie on a shelf. I can't put like 800ths of a movie. I'm not going to saw it, cut it up, 800ths of it, and put it on the shelf for people to rent. So I just take the decimal away, and I just leave it 3,790. And that's my answer. Okay, so this is exactly the same. 4,320 boxes on 12 shelves. How many more boxes can they fit if they add 6 more shelves? So I set up my proportion. 4,320 boxes are on 12 shelves. That is my first proportion. Now I have 6 more boxes on X shelves. Shelves are on bottom, shelves are on bottom. So 12x equals 4,320 times 6 equals 25,920. Divide both sides by 12. 2,160 boxes. Okay? Okay, 3 is the same. 4 is also the same. I'm not going to do 4 here. I will give you a hint. 18-foot beam, 2,115 pounds goes together, and then they give you the weight of the next beam. You have to find the length. So set it up as a proportion. If you want to check your answer, please feel free to come and see me. Okay, this, I'm just going to show you the shortcut, all right? They're going to tell you either how many people say yes or how many people say no. Here they told you how many people say no. So you go to your no percentage, turn it into a fraction, and write the number that said no on top. Okay? Now I divide this out. The important thing you must remember is that is 30%. So when you put that in the calculator, it must have the percent sign behind it. So I get 125 divided by 30% equals 416. Now it's 416.6, but we're talking people, so I just drop that off. It's 416. That is your total. That is your answer. Okay? And that's all you have to do. You simply take either how many said yes or how many said no, turn the percentage into a fraction and divide it. Always remember to use to have your percent on your percentage. If you just put 30, you're going to get 4.16, which is wrong. Okay? And that makes no sense. If 125 people said no, then I didn't survey 4.1 people. Okay? This is exactly the same. Here, we're talking about percentage of a number. Blank percent of blank is blank. Okay, so what number goes here? Well, that's obviously our percentage. So 20% goes here. Now, we want to know what is 20% of 60. Okay? Because that'll tell us how much she saved. So 20% of 60 is what number? So of in math means multiplication. So this becomes 20% times 60 equals and the answer is 12. So 20% of 60 is 12. So she saved $12. Okay. Now it's asking you how much she saved, so the answer is 12. Just remember, blank percent of blank is blank. Your percentage goes in the first blank. The total cost goes in the second blank. And then the savings goes in the third blank. Same thing here. Blank percent of blank is blank. The easiest one to fill out is the percentage. It's 15%. Okay? What is the total amount he's spending? $79.99. I'm just going to make that 80. So remember, of means multiply. So 15% times 80 equals, well, again, they're saving $12. However, this time, they want to know how much would he pay. How much would he pay? Well, he's saving $12, so I have to take how much they originally were and subtract $12, because that's my discount. The shocks were $80. I got a $12 discount, so I subtract it, and I find out that the shocks cost $68. So my answer is $68. Okay? This is the same thing. This is the same thing, except it's a tip. So let's go over this one. Blank percent of blank is blank. Again, your percentage is going to go right here. Now, what's their total bill? Your total goes here. 47.20 is their total. So 47.20 times 15% equals $7.08. So if you went to a restaurant and your bill was $47.20 and you wanted to leave a 15% tip for the waiter or waitress, you would leave $7.08. Now, tip. They want to know what the total bill was including the tip. Do they take the tip away from your bill or add it to your bill? That's correct. They add it to your bill. So you have to add these two numbers together. So your total bill is $54.28. Okay, that's it for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to come in and see me. Thank you. Have a nice day.